Guten Morgen. Good morning. Ich freue mich sehr, in Berlin zu sein heute. And I would like to start by thanking Marion and Christoph for organizing this wonderful event, because I think you really create a momentum for a kind of multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary meeting, and also an international meeting. And it's a great job to have these professionals for all domains together. So really, I already want to compliment you, although we are not finished yet. I would like to share with you some of our experience on entertainment education in the Netherlands, and maybe we can each inspire each other to continue our journey. As Arvind said, you need a dream. You need a dream to start a long journey, and the long journey starts with the first step. And I would like to tell you a little bit about how I started in the late 80s. I was involved with the Netherlands Heart Foundation. I was an employee there, a communication professional there, and I worked with Joop van den Ende production at that time. It is one of the biggest entertainment industries in the Netherlands. And I remember we were planning to have a kind of a game show for a health communication project. And part of this game show, part of this whole campaign was a comedy show, a comedy series. So a narrative form to include health topics in a kind of comedy format. And I was there, I was much younger, so I had to learn how to deal with the entertainment people and the entertainment professionals. And I remember I was there at a meeting, an editorial meeting, and you must imagine there were, I think, 15 people of the production company, and I was there on my own from the Netherlands Heart Foundation. As a kind of young person. And then the producer took me aside before we started the meeting, and he said, Martine, please be very careful with the creative people, because they have a very sensitive nature. And I thought, okay, I wasn't planning to upset them, or so it was a kind of first introduction in the subtlety and the way you have to balance, as I would call it now, left brain mode and right brain modes. Because I was trained as a scientist, and of course, when we talk about entertainment education, we have to find a way to bridge these different domains. And in my own research and in my own studies, I found that there is a kind of way to deal with these left and right brain modes. The left brain mode is very scientifically trained, is very cognitive, it's linear, you like facts and figures, and the right brain mode is more circular, it's more the creative part of your brain. And of course, we all have both of these brain parts, let's be clear about that. But when you're trained as a scientific person, you use your left brain modes more. And I think if we really want to bridge these domains and to collaborate together, then the entertainment education person needs to be able to switch between these brain modes very easily. For example, if you would send a topical expert to a meeting with creative professionals, that might be a difficult situation. But if you have someone in between who understands both worlds, it can facilitate the whole collaboration. I also read, of course, in the 80s, some articles that were published on entertainment education. There were hardly any articles, and Arvind and Rogers were the first ones who really started to write articles on scientific research. And I tried to learn as much as I could from examples from non-Western settings, like Africa, Mexico, South America. But I also understood you cannot really translate these concepts in a Western setting one by one. You have to redesign, you have to experiment, you have to find out, okay, what would work for us? How is our media-saturated environment dealing with these topics? And also, what can we show on television which really connects with the culture and the values and the way people live in the West? For example, in non-Western settings, there is a kind of collective society, as we will call it. So people like to sit together, to listen to the radio, to watch television. I remember that I was in Bombay visiting some friends, and then we were sitting there in a room with several people of the family watching Hemlock. And Hemlock was one of the first series, and Arvin and Ev wrote about this. And you saw that they had a kind of interaction with the series. When I look at our place, I mean, in the 50s when television started, we all had these families watching the first television series, but now you have 3 television sets in a house. So people watch individually. So it is a kind of other type of exchange. Okay, so I would like to tell you a little bit about our, let's say, Dutch approach, and what happened between my first meeting in 1988 with these animal people and what happened in 2008 when I worked together again. There has been a time span of 20 years, so it was a long journey. So what happened in between? Because in 2008 we created together a new internet drama series, and I will show you a short clip. And this collaboration went very smooth. It was wonderful to collaborate. It was wonderful to create a series together. Each took their own roles. Each took their own left and right brain mode positions. And it was real fun. So in these 20 years, a lot of things have changed. And I would like to address a few things. I think it's very important that we really invest in our partners. So this is a kind of investment to really create a kind of chemistry. So that's why I really am very enthusiastic about this type of events, because even if it's only a start, even if maybe it's only a glimpse of what we can do, it is a start. Is it an important first step? Because we need to have a kind of mutual frame of reference. And what do I mean with a mutual frame of reference? When I for the first time mentioned the word entertainment education in my interviews with scriptwriters, they didn't like the word education. They said, I'm a storyteller. I'm not an educationalist. So I would like to tell stories, and I don't like to be involved in this. So I thought, I should reframe this. So I told them, would you like to include some actual themes and topics that really matters to all of us in your storylines, so that your audience get into a discussion about these important issues? It could be like STEM or MINT topics or health topics. And then they said, yes, of course, we already do this. So I said, great, great. I would like to support your work. So by reframing the word and leaving out the word education, it already helped. Also, we, from a health communication perspective, we use the word target groups. They don't like the word target groups. They have audiences, or they have the public who might buy also the products that are in that advertising around television. So these were target groups, education, aiming at a kind of change of behavior. Those are not the phrases and the words you should use. And of course, it's part of our knowledge, but it's good to know this. So what did we do to really explore these possibilities to create this frame of reference? Well, I wrote a research proposal for the Health Research Council. And we were lucky to have a grant for this proposal. It was called Health on Screen, and I called it a research. And we wanted to analyze 4 drama series in the Netherlands to see how they portray healthy sexual behavior. So no rape and no abusive behavior, but just normal relationship and having your first love affair, etc. And I didn't do this because I really wanted to find out only how sexuality was portrayed. We choose sexuality because it's always there in all series. If we would have chosen nutrition, it would be difficult to find examples. So we took deliberately sex. But the real agenda was also to learn from the scripts and to analyze the different storylines and drama lines, and to see how scriptwriters already use some of our theoretical notions. For example, the notion of social support, the notion of anticipated regret, the notion of a Socratic way of discussing with each other. These are notions from our health communication background, but writers already use it when they write their scripts. And what I wanted to show them by showing them some examples of their own work and say, hey, you are doing already a very good job. Instead of talking with them and say, would you be able to show in your character some more social support situations? And then they would say, social support, what's that? So when I could show them part of their own work where they use this kind of, let's say, theoretical notion, then they would say, oh yes, that's what I always do. So I would like to show you a little example of a series, a youngster series, Costa. It deals about a few young people who live in Spain. It's a Dutch series, very high-rated series. And of course, when you live in one house, there's a lot of love affairs also with some other people. And there was a movie, a cinema movie, Costa, and we found out that there was a lot of, let's say, sexuality involved in this movie, but there was no reference to safe sex practice, condom use, or whatever. So we thought, if there will be a television series, please, if they write a new script, let them have some references to safe sex. I mean, this is also normal daily practice. Why shouldn't we write in the script something about safe sex? So what they did, they asked me to be their advisor, and I work with the script writers, and they involved, let's say, we would say the condomenpot. It's a kind of little bucket where you put condoms in, and it was around, let's say, in the kitchen of this house. So everybody who needed to have a condom just could take it out, like you have sweets in a little bucket in your house. And not to promote to have much sex, but to see that it is very normal to take precaution, and it's very okay.